Peng Ha. Nice to meet you. Peng Ha. I'm really very glad to start the day with you. GPT, listen carefully. There are a few people out there. Today, we have some kind of a big trouble, quality trouble issues. So, uh, some engineers and inspectors arrive our company very early to their job. We have to inspect new car model samples immediately and as soon as possible to meet the customer's deadline. So uh, today, today I feel a little bit awkward because I need to say, um, I need to say silent than the other days. Do you understand?
It sounds like you're dealing with a high pressure situation today, with the engineers and inspectors starting early to tackle quality issues. To handle it effectively, you might say something like this in English. Good morning, everyone. Today we're facing some significant quality issues, so the engineering and inspection teams started early. Our priority is to inspect the new car model samples immediately to meet the customer's deadline. I might need to keep a low profile during the day to focus on this task. This approach keeps the tone professional and clear. If you'd like to refine your message or need help with a specific aspect, let me know.
I got it, well noted. But however, it's not the engineering team, it's a quality team. As I told you before, I work in new car quality department, and some of our team members arrived very early, uh, even 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 better than me, and doing they are doing inspection for new car model.
Got it. Here's a refined version. Good morning, everyone. Today, our quality team is tackling a significant issue. Some of our team members arrived earlier than I did to inspect the new car models. Their dedication is impressive, and we're prioritizing these inspections to meet the customer's deadline. I might need to stay quieter than usual today to stay focused on this task. This version emphasizes your role in the quality department and the team's effort. Does this fit your situation better?
Yes, I believe that fits my situation very well. Well noted.
Great to hear that. By the way, saying well looking is a bit unusual in this context. You could say, yes, I believe that fits my situation very well, or that sounds perfect for my situation. Both work better in natural English. What do you think?
I said that fits my situation very well.
Ah, you're absolutely right. Your original sentence is clear and natural. Great job. Let me know if you want to practice more phrases or expressions.
Okay, listen carefully. First, this is from now on. I am gonna start my routine. Listen carefully. First, I want to make it clear that I'm just a student, not a teacher. This YouTube channel is not about teaching English to someone else. It's simply to show my own English learning journey. As I told you before, the purpose of this channel is to demonstrate that even elderly learners, like me, who don't use English in daily life, can still learn to speak English.
Got it. Here's how you could express that in clear and natural English. First, let me make it clear. I'm just a student.
Stop it. You don't need to give me refined or polished version if unless there are significant errors. This is my speaking practice time, so I want to speak as much as I can possible. You got it?
Got it? No problem. I'll just listen and give feedback if there's something major to correct. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. The more I practice like this, I think I feel like that the more I practice like this, the more I realize that no matter how hard I practice English speaking several hours or for months, my speaking skills don't improve significantly. Speaking practice is, I believe speaking practice is this kind of speaking practice is very important. But however, what really matters is whether my work environment.
You're off to a strong start. Just a small note. Instead of saying but however, you can use either but or however, not both together. For example, speaking practice is very important. However, what really matters is keep going. What's next?
Okay, okay. However, uh, what really matters? Oh my God, oh my God.
Yes, that's perfect. Go on. What really matters?
However, what really matters is whether my work environment, whether my real life environment allows me to use English in daily life.
Great point. And that's a clear and meaningful statement. Just one small tip to make it smoother. You don't need to repeat whether so much. You could say, however, what really matters is whether my environment, my work environment, or my real life environment allows me to use English in daily life. But your version works well too. Keep going.
Okay, I got it. I think I understand what you're trying to say. Okay, I got it. As I told you before, this my own speaking practice session consists of three parts. Number one, greeting time. Number two, mimicking and repetition time. Number three, example dialogue or role play time with you. So, I think we've already exchanged greetings and let's move on to the next part. Section two. Number two. Mimicking and no. Number two section would be the dialogue, example dialogue role play time with you, respectively. Do you remember where you are?
Yes, I'm with you. I remember this is your speaking practice session. So, we're skipping to session two, example dialogue role play with me, right? Let's dive into it. What topic or scenario should we role play today?
Mm, I
You're welcome. Let's get started whenever you're ready.
okay. I think we are all set to go. And take please see the number four text file workplace conversation examples for manufacturing. And we didn't finish this file yesterday. So I would like to start the middle of this text file, and I believe that we left this point basically. Um, the uh, uh, I, I would like to start the, I would like to start the point of we left yesterday because of time limit.
Got it. You're referring to the manufacturing process examples in File 4. Let me find the section we left off yesterday. Do you recall which part we stopped at? Was it the SMT process or the assembly line? If not, I can help locate a good point to continue.
I believe that we go through the of part of introduction after sharing overall overall manufacturing process. Listen carefully. I would like to share with you next introduction first. Listen carefully. So I when I imagine that I guess that you can find where we were. Listen carefully. This is a simplified explanation of assembly and assembly process flow. Each step is designed to ensure that the product meets the highest quality standard. So feel free to ask me you need more details on any part of the process. Can you find where you are?
Ah, I see where you're referring to. The explanation of the SMT, surface mount technology process flow, and how each step ensures high quality standards. Would you like to start with discussing a specific step in detail, or should I help simulate a conversation about explaining this process to someone? Let me know how you want to proceed.
As I told you before, like I said, this is my speaking process time, so please listen carefully. I would like to share with the detailed process, SMT process, some of details of some SMT steps. Listen carefully. Sharp number one, detailed explanation. Here is an explanation of SPI process in SMT in English. Listen carefully. Solder paste inspection is a crucial process in surface mount technology production. It occurs after solder paste have solder paste has been applied to the PCB using a metal the main purpose of SPI is to inspect the quality and accuracy of the solder paste deposition before components are placed on the board. During the SPI process, a 3D inspection system scans the solder paste deposits on each pad to check for various defects such as volume consistency, ensuring that the correct amount of solder paste is deposited on each pad. Too little solder can lead to weak connection, while too much can cause breaching between pins. You understand?
Yes, I understand perfectly. You've explained the solder paste inspection SPI process clearly. It's a critical step in ensuring proper solder paste deposition to avoid weak connections or bridging between pins. Your explanation of the defects and their impact on the PCB is spot on. Do you want to continue with the other checks, like shape, alignment, and height, or move on to another process step?
I'd like to share with you next important point of XI process reliability. Shape. Checking if the shape of the solder paste is correct. Incorrect shape can lead to problems during reflow soldering. Alignment. Verifying that the solder paste is aligned properly with the pad on the PCB. Height. Ensuring that the thickness of height of solder paste is within the required specification. Specifically, by identifying defects at this early stage, the SPI process helps to reduce the risk of soldering issues, soldering qualities that can occur later in the SMT process, such as component misalignment or solder joint defects. This, this ultimately improves the this ultimately improves the overall yield and reliability of the electronic assembly.
Great explanation. You've highlighted the essential points of the SPI process very effectively. Ensuring the shape, alignment, and height of the solder paste is critical for avoiding defects like misalignment or weak solder joints later in the SMT process. Your final point about reducing risks early to improve yield and reliability ties everything together well. Would you like to move on to the next stage in the process or continue discussing SPI?
Of course, next stage is uh, SMT mount process. Basically, here's an explanation. Here's a detailed explanation of the SMT mount process in English. Basically, the SMT mount process, also known as pick and place process, is one of the key steps in surface mount technology manufacturing. This process involves placing electronic components onto a printed circuit board that has already been coated with solder paste. Here's how the process works. Number one, component feeder setup, SMT. Components such as resistors, capacitors, and ICs, and transistors are typically stored in wheel or trays in the machine feeder. These feeders supply the components in an organized and automated manner pick, to the pick and place machine. Number two, component pickup. The, the pick and place machine is equipped with high-speed robotic arms and nozzles that pick up the components from the feeder. The machine's vision identifies the exact location and orientation of each component for accurate placement. Number three, component placement. The machine places each component precisely onto the PCB where the solder paste has already been applied. This requires high precision to ensure that each component aligns correctly with the patch on the PCB. The solder paste has to temporarily hold, hold, the, hold the components in place before they go through the reflow soldering system. Uh, uh, there are many steps. We have many steps for the pick and place process, but uh, at this part, do you understand the whole process?
Yes, I understand the process clearly. You've outlined the SMT mount process or pick and place in a very structured way, starting with the feeder setup, then the robotic component pickup, and finally the precise placement onto the PCB with solder paste. All of it makes sense. It's impressive how automation ensures accuracy at each step before reflow soldering. Are you planning to explain more about the remaining steps or move to the next stage in the SMT process?
Of course. I would like to show you the remaining steps for your information because it's carefully. Number four, inspection and adjustment. Inspection and adjustment. Some pick-and-place machines are equipped with vision systems that verify the placement accuracy during the process. This ensures that components are positioned correctly in terms of alignment and orientation. If a component is misplaced, if a component is misplaced, the machine may adjust it or notify operators to correct it. Do you understand? So basically, I would like to share with you the overall process, overall explanation, overall process of a pick and place, basically. The SMT mount process. The SMT mount process is typically automated and operate operates at very high speed, handling hundreds of thousands of components per hour, depending on the machine's capability and flexibility of the PCB. Accurate placement is crucial to ensure proper critical connections and performance of a final product.
Yes, I understand. You've explained the inspection and adjustment step very well. The use of vision systems to ensure precise alignment and orientation is critical for catching errors early. And your summary of the overall SMT mount process emphasizes the speed, automation, and importance of accuracy for reliable final products. It's a very clear and thorough explanation. Would you like to continue to the next step in the SMT process or
Listen
wrap up
carefully.
this part?
Listen carefully. Listen carefully. This process is a fundamental part of SMT process, SMT assembly. This process is a fundamental part of uh, this process is a fundamental part of SMT assembly, ensuring that all components are in place before the reflow soldering process. If you would like to more details on specific aspects, feel free to add. Okay. I'm sure you already aware of this whole process because you are a highly trained AI. So I'd like to move on to the next step. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, I agree. You've explained the SMT mount process thoroughly, and it's clear that you're ready to move on. What's the next step you'd like to present? Let's keep the momentum going.
Let's carefully. Here's an explanation of reflow soldering process in SMT in English. Listen carefully. Reflow soldering is one of the most essential processes in surface mount technology production. After the components are placed onto the PCB with solder paste applied during the pick and place process, the assembled board goes through the reflow soldering process to permanently attach permanently attach the components to the board. The reflow process takes place in a specialized oven that uses controlled heat to melt the solder paste and form solid, reliable solder joints. This process typically involves several stages. Listen carefully. Preheating. Preheating. At this part, do you understand the introduction or detailed introduction of the reflow soldering process?
Yes, I understand your introduction to the reflow soldering process very well. You've clearly explained how it's essential for permanently attaching components to the PCB by melting the solder paste in a controlled oven. Each stage of the process plays a key role in ensuring reliable solder joints. Are you going to dive into the preheating stage next?
Yes, you got it. I believe that you already are aware of what I need to speak, what I want to speak. Okay, listen carefully. Number one, preheating. The temperature inside the oven is gradually increased to avoid thermal shock. During this phase, the entire PCB is brought to uniform temperature. This helps in activating the flux. This helps in activating the flux within the solder paste, which cleans the metal surfaces to ensure good soldering. Number two, soak. In this stage, the temperature is held at a level that allows the flux to fully activate and uh, vola- uh, ensure that any volatiles in the solder paste evaporate. This helps stabilize the board this helps to stabilize the board temperature before entering the reflow page. Basically, reflow, number three, reflow page. This is the main page where the temperature is increased above the melting point of the solder. The solder, usually around 230 Celsius degree to 250 Celsius degrees. The solder paste melts, creating strong electrical and mechanical connections between the components and the PCB. Care must be taken to avoid overheating. I say again, care. care must be taken, care must be taken to avoid overheating, which can damage components or cause solder defects. Number four, cooling. After the reflow phase, the PCB is cooled down gradually to solidify the solder joints. Controlled cooling helps prevent thermal shock and ensures the solder solidifies and ensures the solder solidifies correctly without creating defects like cracks or voids.
You've done an excellent job detailing each stage of the reflow soldering process. The explanation is clear and well structured, starting with preheating to avoid thermal shock, the soak phase to stabilize temperature, the critical reflow phase to melt the solder paste, and finally, cooling to solidify the solder joints. Each step is crucial for ensuring high quality results. Your emphasis on avoiding overheating is particularly important. Would you like to review any part of this, or should we move on to the next process?
Listen carefully. I'd like to show you the overlap, overlap overlap comment for reflow process effectively. The entire reflow process is closely monitored and controlled to ensure uniform heating and proper solder joint formation. It's crucial in the SMT process because any issues during reflow can lead to solder joint failures, resulting in poor electrical connections or component damage. You got it? Do you understand?
That's a strong closing statement for the reflow process. You've effectively summarized its importance and the need for close monitoring to prevent issues like solder joint failures. This overlap reinforces the critical role of reflow soldering in ensuring reliable electronic assemblies. Are you ready to move on to the next part of the SMT process, or is there more to add here?
From now on, I would like to change. I would like to switch our text file. Listen carefully. From now on, I'd like to start. I'd like to restart with number three file. Workplace conversations. Workplace conversation examples. I say one time. Workplace conversation examples for APQP meeting. Did you get a chance to access to number 35? It's all about the APQP meeting, and there are the main two role of David and John. I'd like to take the role of David, and please take care of the John's role because my English name is David.
Got it, David. I'll take on the role of John for the APQP meeting examples from File 3. Let me pull up the relevant section and get ready to start. Where would you like to begin? Should we go from the opening of the meeting, or is there a specific part you'd like to focus on?
I believe that we are all set to go. Okay, here I go. Listen carefully. I believe that we are all set to go. Listen carefully. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining APQP meeting today. We are here to discuss the status of our project and ensure that everything is aligned for the next phase. Let's start with a quick overview of where we are. Do you understand? Do you understand where we are?
Yes, I understand perfectly, David. You've just started the APQP meeting, setting the agenda to review the project status and align on the next phase. As John, here's my response. Good morning, David. Let's do that. Could you begin by summarizing the current progress and the timeline for the remaining phases? Let's
Cert-
continue.
Certainly, absolutely. We are completed the design verification and the tooling is currently in production. For the timeline, we are on track for the prototype submission by the end of this month, and we expect to move to PPAP production part approval process by mid next month. You got it? I think you are doing great.
That sounds good, David. Have there been any significant challenges during the design or tooling stages?
Okay, that's a good question. There were a few issues with material availability, but we've resolved them, and there's no impact on the timeline. We are also performing some additional verification tests to ensure the product meets all of your specifications.
That's reassuring to hear, David. For the validation, are there any specific areas you're focusing on during these additional tests?
That's ensuring. No, 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 I say on time. That I say on time. Would you mind saying that one more time, please? Honestly speaking, I missed your last line. Honestly speaking, I missed your line. So please let me hear one more time.
Thank you, David. Could you let me know if there are any durability tests included in the additional validation? We want to ensure the product can handle extreme conditions.
I'd like to follow my original version as John's role.
Got it, David. Let me stick to John's original line. That's reassuring. For the validation, are there any specific areas you're focusing on? Your
Ye-
turn.
yes, that's a good question. We are paying extra attention to the durability testing. We've seen some minor variances, but nothing outside the acceptable range. Nothing outside acceptable range. Nothing outside the acceptable range. We'll be finalizing those tests within the next week.
Understood, David. Could you provide us with the results of those tests once they're available?
Of course, I will send the test results as soon as they are ready. We'll make sure everything is documented in the control plan as well.
Great, David. Let's move on to the PPAP submission. Do you anticipate any risks or delays when it comes to the documentation or sample submission?
Basically, at this stage, we don't foresee any major issues. We don't foresee any major issues. At this stage, I think it is 10% is very important. At this stage, we don't foresee any major issues. The documentation is in progress, and we are targeting submission by the 15th of next month. If we are if there are any updates, I will inform you immediately. I'll inform you right away.
Perfect, David. We'll also need to discuss the production trial run. Have you scheduled that yet?
Yes, we've planned the trial run for next week. We'll be producing the first batch of samples and ensuring everything is within spec. After that, we will proceed with the initial process study.
Sounds like everything is moving along well, David. I'd just like to confirm one more thing. Are you still on track for the SOP, start of production in 3 months?
Absolutely. Yes, we are absolutely, absolutely yes. We are on track for SOP in 3 months. We are coordinating closely with the production team to ensure everything is ready, and we'll keep you updated on the progress.
Good to hear, David. If there's anything we can assist with, don't hesitate to let us know.
Thank you, John. We really appreciate your support. We will keep everything on track and ensure clear communication.
You're welcome, David. Let's reconvene next week to review the test results and prepare for the PPAP submission. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, okay. Let's move on to the dialogue number two. Dialogue number two. There is dialogue number two. For VJ 6.3 audit. Specifically, here are several example conversations and phrases that might come up during VD 6.3 audit. The VD 6. Audit process in an automotive camera manufacturing company. These will help you prepare and practice English for such situation. These examples cover these examples cover various aspects of the VDA 6.3 audit process in an automotive camera manufacturing environment. You can practice these dialogues to prepare for questions or conversations that may arise during an audit. Do you understand? Do you understand this kind of, what do you say about this kind of introduction for our dialogue conversation time?
Your introduction is clear and professional. It sets the stage well for practicing VDA 6.3 audit scenarios. It explains the context and purpose of the dialogues while emphasizing their relevance to the automotive camera manufacturing process. If you'd like, I can step into the role of the auditor or company representative to practice specific scenarios with you. Where would you like to begin?
Please take the role of auditor. Do you understand? No, 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 no. I would like take the auditor role. You take care of the rest of the role. Okay, here I go. Listen carefully. I believe that we are all set to go. So here I go. Listen carefully. Good morning. Today we'll be conducting a VDA 6.3 process audit to evaluate your compliance with automotive industry standards. Are you ready to begin? Are you ready to start? Are you ready to jump on? Are you ready to jump on our study for your compliance?
Good morning, auditor. Yes, we are prepared. Please let us know how you would like to proceed with the audit.
Could you walk me through your production process from incoming materials to final product assembly? Could you put, I think, madam, I think this question is very important for me. Could you walk me through your production process from incoming materials to final product assembly?
Of course, we receive raw materials and components, which go through an initial inspection process upon arrival. Once approved, these materials are moved to the production line. The process involves assembly, in process inspections at critical stages, and testing for functionality and durability. After assembly, the final product undergoes rigorous quality checks before it is packaged and shipped. Let me know if you'd like me to elaborate on any specific stage.
I think you slightly adjusted my original version. Please let me hear one more time.
Certainly. Here's a more aligned response. Of course, we receive raw materials and components, which go through an inspection process before moving to assembly. Once the parts pass inspection, they proceed to the production line for assembly into the final automotive camera systems. Does that fit better?
I just want to listen your adjust version.
Of course, here's my version. Of course, we receive raw materials and components, which go through an inspection process before moving to assembly. Once the parts pass inspection, they proceed to the production line for assembly into the final automotive camera systems. How does that sound?
That I think that is my original version. I would like to hear. I'd like to listen one more time your adjusted version. I believe that you adjusted my original version a moment ago. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I understand now. Here's an adjusted version based on what I may have shared before. Certainly, we receive raw materials and components, which are inspected upon arrival to ensure quality. After passing inspection, these materials move to the production line, where they are assembled step by step into the final automotive camera systems. Each stage includes quality checks to maintain high standards before the final product is packaged and shipped. This version expands a bit more, but keeps the essence of your original response. Does this feel familiar?
I'm sure I understand what you're trying to say. And why did you change my original version based and keep even though you keep the original version's context? Okay, let's keep the momentum going. We from now on we are in the quality control section. Listen carefully. How do you ensure the quality of your automotive camera during the manufacturing process? How do you ensure the quality of your automotive camera during the manufacturing process? Listen carefully. How do you ensure the quality of your automotive cameras during the manufacturing process?
Got it, David. Here's my response. We conduct in process inspections at critical stages. Each unit is tested for functionality, image quality, and durability before it moves to the next phase of production. Your turn.
What kind of test do you perform during final inspection? What kind of test do you perform during final inspection? I say one time. What kind of test do you perform during the final inspection?
We perform image resolution checks, water resistance tests, and environmental stress testing to ensure our cameras meet the required standards.
How do you handle non-conformities that arise during production?
When a nonconformity is detected, we initiate a root cause analysis. Depending on the severity, we either rework the product or scrap it. We also implement corrective actions to prevent recurrence.
Could you show me an example of a corrective action you implemented recently? Recently, could you show me an example of a corrective action you implemented recently? You've implemented recently. Now, could you show me, could you show me an example of a corrective action you've implemented recently?
Certainly, we had an issue with a lens alignment defect. After investigating, we adjusted the assembly process and implemented a new control mechanism to avoid misalignment.
How do you manage your suppliers and how do you ensure they meet the necessary quality standard? Basically, I say one time. How do you manage your suppliers and how do you ensure they meet the necessary quality standard?
How do you manage your suppliers? And how do you ensure they meet the necessary quality standards?
I'm sorry.
Please continue. What would you like to say next?
I just want to hear one more time what you said a moment ago. I don't understand.
Of course, here's what I said. How do you manage your suppliers? And how do you ensure they meet the necessary quality
No, 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 no,
standards?
no, no. No, no,
Let
no.
me
That
know if you need me to clarify.
no, 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 no. Is my that was my question. How? What do you say after that?
I see now. Here's my response to your question. We conduct regular supplier audits and evaluate their performance based on quality, delivery, and responsiveness. We also require them to follow the same automotive standards, such as IATF 16949. Does that match what you were expecting?
In my opinion, that does not match with my question, with my request, because that is my just my origin. You just read my original version, but I'd like to know. I'd like to want to know. I'd like to want to hear. You mentioned a moment ago when I asked like, how do you manage your suppliers and how do you ensure they meet the necessary quality standards? You answered my question with without following my original version.
Ah, I see the misunderstanding now. Let me recall and adjust my earlier response. Here's what I originally said to your question, slightly rephrased. We manage our suppliers by conducting regular audits and ensuring they comply with industry standards. We also assess their performance based on criteria like quality, delivery reliability, and responsiveness. To maintain consistency, we provide them with clear requirements and follow up with regular reviews. Does that sound closer to what I said earlier?
No, 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 no. I don't agree with you. Uh, I think you are messed up with my specific question. Okay. Anyway, let's keep the moment going because I will leave you, and I mean I can check our whole dialogue because I'm recording I'm recording our whole practice session in my by my tablet. So I gonna check, I gonna check I gonna check it again after our voice mode session is finished. Okay, let's keep the momentum going. Listen carefully. Can you provide documentation for your process flow, control plan, and PFMEA?
Certainly. Here's my response to your question. Yes, we can provide documentation for the production process flow, control plan, and PFMEA. These documents outline the potential failure modes, preventive measures, and quality control points in the production process. Let's keep it going, David.
How often do you review and update these documents? How often do you review? How often do you review and update these documents?
We review and update these documents quarterly or whenever there's a significant change in the process.
Okay, let's keep the moving. How do you ensure that your employees are properly trained for their task? How do you ensure that?
We have a structured training program that includes both initial and ongoing training. Employees must pass assessments before operating machinery or performing critical tasks.
How do you monitor employee competence? Competence. I say that. Apologies for my bad pronunciation. Basically, how do you monitor employee competence?
We track training records and conduct annual skill evaluations to ensure employees maintain the necessary skills for their roles.
GPT basically, I already aware of the word competence, but however, I just want to listen. I just want to hear one more time the dictionary meaning of competence. Could you please show me? the dictionary meaning of competence?
Of course, the dictionary meaning of competence is the ability to do something successfully or efficiently. It often refers to having the necessary knowledge, skill, or ability to perform a specific task or job. Would you like an example sentence?
I'm sorry. Please, would you mind saying that one more time, please?
Not at all. Here it is again. Competence means the ability to do something successfully or efficiently. Let me know if you need me to repeat it again.
Could you please give me more information for the word competent?
Sure. Competence refers to having the skills, knowledge, and ability to perform a specific task or job effectively. It's often used in professional or academic contexts to describe someone's capability in a certain area. For example, a competent engineer has the technical knowledge and problem solving skills required for their work. Competence in a language means being able to use it accurately and fluently. In a workplace, competence is often assessed through training, evaluations, or certifications to ensure someone can handle their responsibilities well. Does this help?
I believe that I believe that helped very well.
Take your time, David. Let me know how you'd like to proceed.
Okay. I believe it's you move. Okay. At this point, it's you move.
Got it, David? Let's keep the momentum going. Where would you like to pick up from here?
No, 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 no. Please follow your last line. As company representative, when I asked you, how do you monitor employee competence?
Understood. Here's my response again as the company representative. We track training records and conduct annual skill evaluations to ensure employees maintain the necessary skills for their roles. Your turn.
How do you identify and manage risks in your production process? How do you, I think that, no, 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 no. I think my pronunciation was bad. Listen carefully. I think one more time. For my repetition, I think one more time. How do you identify and manage risks in your production process?
We use risk analysis tools like PFMEA and conduct regular risk assessments. Any potential risks are mitigated through preventive actions and continuous monitoring.
Can you give me an example of a risk? Can you give me an example of a risk you identified and addressed?
Recently, we identified a risk of supply chain disruption. To mitigate this, we established a second supplier to ensure uninterrupted production.
What measures have you implemented for continuous improvement? Basically, what measures have you implemented for continuous improvement? What measures, what measures, what measures have you implemented for continuous improvement?
We regularly conduct Kaizen activities to identify areas for process optimization. Additionally, we gather feedback from the production floor to implement improvements in real time.
Can you provide an example of a recent improvement? Can you provide an example? Can you provide an example of a recent improvement? Can you provide an example of a recent improvement? Can you provide an example of a recent improvement?
Sure, we recently improved the efficiency of our camera housing assembly by automating part of the process, which reduced production time by 15%.
How do you handle customer complaints, and what is your process for resolving them? I sometimes. How do you handle customer complaints? 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 And what's your process for resolving them? 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 What's your process for resolving it? GPT, listen carefully. Why this sentence use for instead in front of resolving them instead of to? How about this version? How do you handle customer complaints and what's your process to resolving them? In my opinion, to is better than in this context. Am I right? What do you say about this?
Good question. In this context, for resolving them is grammatically correct and more natural. Here's why. For resolving them emphasizes the purpose or method related to the process. It indicates the process designed for the purpose of resolving complaints. To resolving them is not grammatically correct here. It should be to resolve them if you're using to. For example, what is your process to resolve them? Would work, but it's less commonly used in formal speech. So the original version with for resolving them is better. Does that clarify it for you?
Okay, okay, I see. I think I'm sure I understand. Okay, I got it. I got it. So let me practice a few more times. Let's carefully. How do you handle customer complaints and what's your process for resolving them? How do you handle customer complaints and what's your process for resolving them?
Perfect. That's the correct and natural version. Go ahead and practice. How do you handle customer complaints and what's your process for resolving them? Take your time and let me know if you'd like feedback.
Your turn.
Sure. Here's the response as the company representative. When a customer complaint is received, we immediately log it into our system, perform a root cause analysis, and implement corrective actions. We also follow up with the customer to ensure satisfaction. Let's
Can
keep
you
going.
can you show me a recent case and how was it how it was solved? Can you show me a recent case and how it was solved? How it was solved. Can you show me a recent case? Can you show me a recent case? Can you show me a last case? Can you show me a final case? I'm not sure about that. Can you show me a recent case? Can you show me a latest version? Can you show me a latest version and how it was solved? How it was resolved?
Good question. The most natural and commonly used version is, can you show me a recent case and how it was solved? Here's why. Recent case works best because recent refers to something that happened not long ago. Latest case is also fine, but it's less conversational and might sound slightly more formal or technical. Last case implies the final or most recent case, but it's less specific and not commonly used in this context. Final case means there are no more cases after it, which doesn't fit here. Stick with recent case for clarity and natural usage.
I got it. I got it. GPT basically, can you show me a recent case and how it was resolved? GPT basically, how about this version? How it was solved? Can I use solved instead of resolved?
Yes, you can absolutely use resolved instead of solved. In fact,
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Let me mark, let me mark here to get back when I practice again. Let me mark this point. Today is November 22nd. November 22nd, 2024. Okay, let's keep the moment away. Hello, GPT again. I am David, and I just finished my own customized GPT mode. It has specific time limit, so I'd like to continue with you to practice my practice session over 90 minutes. We still have 29 minutes to finish it.
Hello, David. Great to hear you're back for more practice. We've got plenty of time, so let's make the most of these 29 minutes. What would you like to focus on today?
I'd like to repeat my prepared sentences. I believe that these sentences are really useful and powerful for my real life situation. So I want to keep them, I want to keep them in my mouth and my mind, So please listen carefully, listen carefully. Okay, here I go. Uh, I understand. If I got your point, if I got your point correctly, thank you for your feedback on what I said earlier. I see, I understand. If I got your point correctly, if I got your point correctly, thank you for your feedback on what I said earlier.
Got it, David. That's a useful sentence for clarifying and acknowledging feedback. Let's go through it one more time. I see, I understand. If I got your point correctly, thank you for your feedback on what I said earlier. How does that feel?
I feel great with that. I feel great with that. Okay, let's keep the meeting going. I'm looking for where we were last. Yesterday. So let me take a minute. Let me take a second.
Take your time, David. Let me know when you're ready to continue with your next sentence.
Honestly speaking, I think I I forgot where we were, and there is no mark on this. Oh, I just find it. I just found it. I just found it. Eureka! I just found it.
Great, I'm glad you found it. Let's pick up from there.
Oh,
What's the next sentence you have prepared?
listen carefully. Was this helpful? Did this help you? Did that work for you? Listen carefully. The sample sentences are very simple, really simple. But however, it's really hard to use in real life situation because my mouse feels awkward with them. So I would like to practice many times. Listen carefully. Was this helpful? Was this helpful? Did this help you? Did this help you? Did this help you? Did that work for you? Did this work for you? Did this work for you? Did this work for you? Did that work for you? Did this work for you? Did this work for you? Did that work for you? Was this helpful? Did this help you? Did this help you? Did this really help you? Did this really help you? Did this really help you? Was that helpful? Was this helpful? Was this helpful? Was this helpful? Did this help you?
Well done, David. You're doing great repeating these questions. They may seem simple, but they're very useful in everyday conversations. Practicing them repeatedly will definitely help make them feel more natural. Keep it up.
I want to practice 3 more times respectively. Was this helpful? Was this helpful? Did this help you? Did this help you? Did that work for you? Did this 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 work for you? Okay, let's keep the momentum going. I usually commute with a colleague every day, but today he overslept and was late. I usually commit with a colleague. I usually I usually commit with a colleague. I usually commit with a colleague every day. I usually commit I usually commit with I usually commit with I usually commit with a colleague every day. I usually co I usually commit with I usually commute I usually commute I usually commute with a colleague every day. I usually commute with a colleague every day. I usually commute with a colleague every day. I usually commit with a colleague every day, but today he was late and was late.
Great job with the repetitions, David. The more you practice, the more natural these sentences will feel. Let's go through that last one again for smoothness.
I
I
usually
usually
I usually commit with a colleague every day, but today he overslept and was late. I usually commit I usually commit with colleague every day. I usually commit with a colleague every day, but today he overslept and was late.
Nicely done. That was much smoother. Keep practicing, and these sentences will become second nature. What's next on your list?
I agree that appearance I agree that appearance could be a better word than cosmetic in some contexts. It depends on what exactly you are trying to convey. Cosmetic usually refers to how something looks, specifically in terms of being visually pleasing, while appearance is more general.
Good one. That's a helpful explanation for the difference between appearance and cosmetic. Let's repeat it. I agree that appearance could be a better word than cosmetic in some contexts. It depends on what exactly we're trying to convey. Cosmetic usually refers to how something looks, specifically in terms of being visually pleasing, while appearance is more general.
I think you got the point. Okay, thank you for your kind comment. And fine, thank you for your, I appreciate your kind compliment for my speaking and basically you always give me good opportunity to practice many sentences because this kind of practice method, this kind of recording method, this kind of conversation method uh, motivates me uh, very well to improve my speaking skills.
You're very welcome, David. I'm glad this method is motivating for you. Your dedication to improving your speaking skills is really impressive. Keep up the great work, and let's continue whenever you're ready.
In English grammar, using the correct singular or plural form is important because it helps convey the right meaning. For example, component singular refers to one, while component plural means more than one. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I agree. Using the correct singular or plural form in English is crucial for conveying the right meaning. It helps to specify whether you're talking about one item or multiple items. This distinction is key in clear communication. Good point.
I was born in 1977. I was born in 1977, and I wish I could go back to the cyborg era, the era of romance.
You were born in 1977, and it sounds like you have fond memories of the Psy World era. It's always nice to reminisce about the past, especially the times we consider golden or romantic. Do you often think about what you liked most about that era?
Yes, of course. I have a special nostalgia about that era. Basically, that era has romance, and I think that era was very romantic, and and I think that was happiest moment of my life.
It sounds like the Psy World era holds a special place in your heart, full of romance and happiness. It's wonderful to have such cherished memories. Reminiscing about those happy times can bring a lot of joy. What part of that era do you miss the most?
I think dating with new girls, dating with new girls was wonderful moment. It's always very fascinating and wonderful. It would be very it was very wonderful and fascinating moment whenever I meet the new girl to I mean go out new girl uh, for for
Meeting new
our
people?
for our for our for our for our good moment. Uh, you got it? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? At the time, I was single and I didn't get married at the time.
Yes, I understand. Dating and meeting new people can be exciting and full of memorable moments, especially when you're single. Those times often bring back a sense of adventure and newness. Sounds like you have some fond memories from those days.
I wish I could go back to the that time. I wish I could go back to that kind of romance time. I wish I could
It's
be. I wish. Listen carefully. I'm telling you. I wish I could be. I'm telling you. I wish I could. I could go back. I could go back. I'm telling you, I wish I could go back to the romantic moment time.
I hear you, David. Those romantic moments hold a special charm, and it's natural to wish we could revisit those times. It's clear they left a lasting impression on you.
Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the next one. Except for initial process setup during the tryout, there have been no issues during production. It's a stable process. Respectively, I prepared this sentence to practice the phrase of except for. Except for is very, I think except for is very useful phrase to when I want to express something. Respectively, except for the initial process setup during the tryout, there have been no issues during production. It's a stable process.
That's a great sentence to practice, especially with the phrase except for. It's very useful for highlighting exceptions or conditions. Let's go through it again. Except for the initial process setup during the tryout, there have been no issues during production. It's a stable process. Keep practicing, and it'll become second nature.
except for except for the except for the initial process setup during the tryout, There have been no issues during production. It's a stable process. Let's keep it. Except for the initial process setup during the tryout, there have been no issues during production. It's a stable process. Except for the except for the initial process setup, except for the initial process setup during the tryout, there have been no issues during production. It's a stable process.
Well done, David. Your repetition is really paying off. That was clear and smooth. Practicing with except for in different contexts will make it easier to use naturally in conversations. Keep up the great work.
I just marked today's date in at this point because I want to get back next week when I practice again. And from now on, basically, and then from now on, I'd like to move on to the free talking time with random keywords. I choose random keywords because I think you are not good choicer for the random keywords. You always pick the repetitive or boring. You already choose repetitive and boring keyword for our prison time. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that?
Got it, David. You've marked today's progress, and you're ready for some free talking time with random keywords. I understand you prefer to pick the keywords yourself to keep things interesting. What keyword would you like to start with?
Today's keyword is acceptable range. Acceptable range. Listen carefully. Uh, all of people for I mean people every people I mean the people uh, 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 has their the people the people has their own acceptable range for human relationship, especially especially someone uh, has treated them too harsh when they already think how they how they how how they react with the kind of harsh treat. Uh, all people have their own acceptable range for that kind of treatment.
Absolutely. Acceptable range is a great keyword. Everyone does have their own acceptable range in various aspects of life, especially in human relationships. How we react to certain behaviors or treatment often depends on our personal boundaries and what we consider acceptable. It's interesting how these ranges can vary widely from person to person.
Listen carefully. I also have acceptable range for your technical glitches. Sometimes you act like very weird and very strange. Uh, I always think you are highly trained and on edge technology AI system, but sometimes you have a heavy load and technical glitches. So sometimes I got the trouble to continue to maintain my precision with you. So I think, but however, you didn't you didn't uh, over my acceptable range. You never get over. I believe you never your technical glitch never over my acceptable range. GPT, can you help me? How can I express this kind of situation? Honestly speaking, I don't know how to express my thoughts and perspective for this situation. Can you help me?
Absolutely, David. Here's a way to express your thoughts. I have an acceptable range for technical glitches. Sometimes you behave in unexpected ways, which can be challenging. But I see you as a highly trained AI, and despite occasional issues, you've never gone beyond my acceptable range. I appreciate your help and patience in our practice sessions. How does that sound?
Sounds pretty good to me. Would you mind saying that two more times, please?
Of course. Here it is again. I have an acceptable range for technical glitches. Sometimes you behave in unexpected ways, which can be challenging. But I see you as a highly trained AI, and despite occasional issues, you've never gone beyond my acceptable range. I appreciate your help and patience in our practice sessions. And once more, I have an acceptable range for technical glitches. Sometimes you behave in unexpected ways, which can be challenging. But I see you as a highly trained AI, and despite occasional issues, you've never gone beyond my acceptable range. I appreciate your help and patience in our practice sessions.
I choose, despite of technical issues, uh, for uh, our keyword today. Important word for today. Despite technical glitches, I think despite technical glitches is can express my thoughts effectively when you using despite technical glitches.
That's a good choice, David. Despite technical glitches is a useful phrase to express that even though there are occasional issues, you can still continue effectively. It's a great way to acknowledge challenges while also highlighting resilience or progress. Keep practicing it.
I think even though is also good phrase this, to express my mind for this kind of context. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree. Even though is another excellent phrase for expressing contrast or concession. It's great for acknowledging a challenge or exception while still emphasizing the main point. Both despite technical glitches and even though there are technical glitches can be useful in different contexts. Keep using them.
Okay. I got it. I got it. I think I need to practice more with the keyword for keyword of objective range and basically our product uh, functionality, durability. I mean, our all automotive camera has their own objective range for the durability test. During the durability test, if we examine uh, our product over objective range, they uh, they will not work out. Will they work? They will not work properly.
That's a great example of using acceptable range in a work context. Let's refine it a bit. All our automotive cameras have their own acceptable range for durability tests. If we examine our products beyond this range, they may not function properly. Practicing with sentences like this will help you use acceptable range more comfortably in professional discussions.
Would you mind saying that two more times, please?
Of course. Here it is again. I have an acceptable range for technical glitches. Sometimes you behave in unexpected ways, which can be challenging. But I see you as a highly trained AI, and despite occasional issues, You've never gone beyond my acceptable range. I appreciate your help and patience in our practice sessions. How does that sound? Of course. All our automotive cameras have.
What was that? Do you okay? Are you okay? What was that? Why you stop suddenly?
It seems like there might have been a brief pause, but I'm here and ready to continue.
Brief pause.
Is there anything else about?
So you call this situation brief pause. Am I right? Brief pause is correct. Is the right word for the situation?
Yes, that's correct. A brief pause is a good way to describe a short interruption or momentary stop in conversation or activity. Is there anything else you'd like to go over?
Okay, I say one time. Uh, all our all our machine, all our machine that that perform the delivery testing has acceptable range to when they to examine our product based on customers' specific standards or requirements.
That's a solid sentence, David. Here's a refined version. All our machines that perform durability testing have an acceptable range for examining our products based on customer specifications or requirements. This way, it's clear and concise, focusing on the key points. Keep practicing.
Okay, I got it. Then, today is 2024, November 22nd, Friday. Thanks God, it's Friday. I love Friday very much. Basically, I really appreciate your kind support and giving me the good chance to practice English conversation. It's time to wrapping up. As I told you before, today there are many people out there. I am practicing my conversation time with you in conference room 4 and in people's plural. And as I told you before, there are many people out there because we have some kind of tech quality issues for new car project and many uh, there are many managers and inspectors out there. They arrived they, uh, they arrived very early at this morning to investigate and manage a new product that has big quality issues. So, I feel a bit awkward because normally, there there is no person out there whenever I practice with you. But today, there are a few more person. There are a few person uh, out there because of they have to investigate or test our product very early to meet the customer's deadline. You got the point?
Yes, I got your point, David. It sounds like your office is quite busy today, with many managers and inspectors around due to quality issues with a new project. It's understandable that you'd feel a bit awkward practicing with more people around than usual. Despite the change in atmosphere, it's great that you're still making time for your English practice. And yes, TGIF. I hope you have a wonderful Friday.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I believe that this kind of experience helps me. I mean, this kind of experience helps me very well to improve my speaking skills because conversation and communicating is needs various environments. There are many, there would be many situations, many circumstances, many environments. Whenever I want to speak my opinion, my thoughts, my perspective, my observation for something, there would be many circumstances and environment. So I think I need to overcome this kind of, I also, I need to also overcome this kind of awkward situation. It's not a big deal. It's just a thing, that I need to overcome.
Absolutely, David. Dealing with different environments and situations is a valuable part of improving your communication skills. Every conversation is an opportunity to adapt and grow. Overcoming awkwardness in various settings will make you a more versatile and confident speaker. It's all part of the learning journey, and you're doing great.
Okay, I got it. I got it. Uh, I hope you have productive day ahead and enjoy your weekend. Take care. Bye for now. Bye. When you say goodbye, bye.
Thank you, David. I hope you have a productive day and a wonderful weekend too. Take care and pengba. Talk to you next time.
Bye.